center of it are India, China and Russia. Ahead of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, or the SCO summit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a delegation-level bilateral meeting with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping. From the outset, this meeting has been historic. This is the Prime Minister's first visit to China in 7 years. And finally, the ties between the two superpower nations of Asia are stabilizing after the deadly border clashes in 2020. Bilateral relations and border issues were the core issues discussed in the 55-minute-long meeting. All right, there's some breaking news coming in at the moment. Prime Minister Modi held a bilateral meeting with Xi Jinping, and now the Ministry of External Affairs has released a statement. It says, and I quote, both leaders welcome the positive momentum and steady progress in bilateral relations since their last meeting in Kazan in October 2024. They reaffirmed that the two countries were development partners and not rivals, and that their differences should not turn into disputes. A stable relationship and cooperation between India and China and their 2.8 billion peoples on the basis of mutual respect, mutual interest and mutual sensitivity are necessary for the growth and development of the two countries, as well as for the multipolar world and the multipolar Asia, befitting the trends of the 21st century. Prime Minister underlined the importance of peace and tranquility on border areas for continued development of bilateral relations. The two leaders noted with satisfaction the successful disengagement last year and the maintenance of peace and tranquility along the border areas since then. They expressed commitment to a fair, reasonable and mutually acceptable resolution of the boundary question proceeding from the political perspective of their overall bilateral relations and the long-term interests of the two peoples. Let's go across to Swati, who's joining us all the way from Tianjin in China. Swati, very significant statement coming in where they are looking at the border areas, and very significantly, one of the lines also mentions that the relations between India and China should not be looked at from the perspective of a third country, an obvious reference to the recent statements coming in from the United States.
Absolutely. The emphasis was on strategic autonomy and independent diplomacy. While both leaders expressed hope that, differences are not turned into disputes, they said that India and China need to look at each other as development partners and not adversaries. There is also a mention of the word terrorism, Madhav, not cross-border terrorism. The mention of the word terrorism in paragraph number 5, where both leaders have decided to expand common ground when it comes to bilateral, global and regional issues, and at the same time challenges like terrorism and fair trade practices. So there is a mention of the word terrorism. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also emphasized that a third party should not intervene, and you should not look at the relationship between India and China from a third-party lens. Both leaders also expressed their commitment to maintaining peace in the border areas. They also noted that how after disengagement, peace and tranquility continues in the border areas. There was a discussion on the people-to-people connect as well, the measures that have been taken, the resumption of the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, the issuance of visas, and also there are talks underway on soon resuming direct flights between India and China. So while the focus, of course, was on issues that pretty much were discussed when the Foreign Minister of China, Mr. Wang Yi, came to India, he met the Foreign Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, NSA Ajit Doval, and ultimately met Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The groundwork was laid. Today in the bilateral, those issues were once again highlighted by both leaders. Most importantly, China says that the dragon-elephant dance is
Yes, stay with us,
right
Swati. We just want to put out that statement as well. Please stay with us. That's the next bit of breaking